You've got, Skyform Super saying, I'd recommend keeping track of how the music is used, what it's attached to, and the lyrics. Gobi's gonna rise up, boom like thunder.
Yep. Yeah.
I know that means a lot.
Especially when it comes to like the certain like vocal themes. They put so much work into lyrics of vocal themes, it's insane. It reminds me of, I think I've maybe talked to you about, I've definitely talked to you about Metal Gear Rising before, and how you can be sitting playing a boss and go, oh, that's a cool vocal theme, that's nice, but you're too busy focusing on the boss to listen to the lyrics. And then you listen to the song back, or like, you know, you're playing the boss again, you're like, hang on, the boss is singing, not literally, but like A Stranger I Remain from the Mistral boss fight is basically the entire lyrical theme is that boss's character. And
oh, wow.
they are like the life arc they've gone through that they kind of talk to you about a little bit, and then you're fighting them as this music's playing of Mistral being like, a stranger I remain, you know, I've always been a stranger in all these places, etc., etc. They do that very, very well with the vocal stuff in what I call, not always, not 100% of the time is important, but it's like the Titan theme being all bow down over Dweller.
Yeah.
It's really, really, they put more work into vocals in lyrics than I could ever have imagined. Especially listening to listening to expansion themes. After finishing 5.3, I read the Shadowbringers lyrics and I was fucking distraught. Like, I was like, I can't believe you have done this. I can't believe this. Same with Answers and Heavensward and Stormblood, all of them, like, incredible.
We've got Lamp Devil saying, if you're already feeling comfortable in the world, take your time, don't worry about us. FF isn't a race, we'll be here when you're done. Yeah, that's what I kind of like about the game. I don't feel any pressure to race through it because I know the new expansion will be out in like 6 months, so it's like this just sort of limbo catch-up time where it's, I kind of just want to do that, see all the raids. If I can do that by Endwalker, I will be more than happy. Yep, absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Right. Bibliothèque is saying, so Bibliothèque, like I know the Bibliothèque because I did I did Spanish, but in this case it's Archmage's library in Portuguese. I meant FF community, my last super. In any case, happy to see you're enjoying yourself. Let me double check if I got, did I do a misread?
Did you?
Because I'm very silly.
Let's check those supers. Thanks, YouTube, for having the
FF community away, Lahi. Yeah.
Yes.
I guess it's a bit like how you say Jafar Cree and all of the the Stargate people will just scream Cree back at you.
Yep, it's kind of that. Oh, man, it's...
Yes. So say we all.
Some good stuff.
Okay, we got Destiny's Hand saying, can't wait until you play the Hildebrand quest line.
That's funny.
Yeah, me too. For some reason in my head, Hildebrand is the Inquisitor Eisenhorn of this universe, which basically Eisenhorn is one of the 40k characters, and Total Biscuit loved Eisenhorn, and he's got some like crazy big important to the lore stuff, but I think also it's just like there's more comedy in Eisenhorn, and I think that's what Hildebrand is a bit like.
Hildebrand's extremely funny.
Destiny's Hand also said, any chance in getting Jobstone pins as Patreon members? So I'd say if you want Jobstone pins, definitely the Square Enix official merch store is the place to get those, because I don't want to be sued into oblivion. That said, we do have loose things that we'd want to do regarding, certain material that you can actually currently see in our camera shot, so I'll leave people to think about what that is as I look at it very obviously, so that's an obvious tell.
Yep.
And I definitely, Tinkerer and like different things. I want to get some more pins and stuff on the go. And generally, I don't want to let ambition get the best of me though, but there's a lot of, basically, I love doing the Patreon pins because you get to crack open a big box of pins. And you just, it's cool, right? I love anything where it's us making physical stuff. So it's like, seriously, we could do like pins and plushies, collectible coins, and all those things, acrylic stands like that, even at some stage statues like this gorgeous statue. I'd love to be able to do things like that in the future. It's really hard to do that.
Does anyone have the Good Smile Company telephone number handy?
All right, let's roll.
Yeah.
So cheers. We've got okay. Let me do the parsing.
I know there's
we've got Omnissiah Sphinx. There's a Warhammer person saying racing through Final Fantasy XIV should be considered a sin. I've seen so many people talk about you know, oh, you've got to skip so many cutscenes and so much dialogue to get to the bit at the end in this game. And to me, I've just been like, well, that seems like the opposite of how everybody's communicated this game to me.
Yep, definitely. Don't go fast. Don't go fast. Go as fast as you reasonably can. But it's even the case where I haven't actually finished MSQ yet. I have not done all of 5.4 and 5.5 because whenever I hit the 5.3 ending, I went, I'm not going to do anything until this is firmly in my brain and I've parsed through everything it is and everything it means.
Well, like, it's why I was playing Shogun 2 this week instead of Final Fantasy, actually. It was because, to me, Shogun 2 is like, it's safe, I know it, I love it. So if I don't have a bunch of mental energy, I can just play Shogun 2.
Yeah.
I knew that my character was on the precipice of being sent off into the world, so I actually didn't play FF for a few days until I could sit down for like a little chunk of time where my head was clear and actually enjoy and appreciate it. So that's how I'm trying to engage with the game anyway, like to really get the most out of it.
Definitely do it when you're ready for it and when you're actually engaged.
Yeah, it's like this narrative stuff. You know, I always remember whenever Mass Effect 3 came out, I came home from school, and because it's school and it's me, I was so fucking tired. I only got a few hours of sleep the previous night. And I remember going through it being like, I'm enjoying this, but I'm also so goddamn tired. And I don't feel like I'm enjoying this as much as I should because it's Mass Effect 3 and I know I love Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And I was keen not to repeat that mistake, I suppose.
Yep. Good call.
Yeah, we got Squidfish saying, excited to see your experiences of the community as a whole. One thing that's always said is how helpful the community overall is to new players. I'd love to hear about your experiences. You know, on that, I've had none really with the community, but I've heard that from everyone.
Yeah.
I've not seen a single person say, oh, the Final Fantasy XIV community, super elitist, they're horrible.
I've not seen that. I mean, I've not done any harder content, but even I actually have a slight anecdote from me doing the last near raid this week.
Yeah.
And it was someone was playing ranged and they were sitting very far out. And a healer, I can't remember the name now, but the healer said, hey, well, there's two of them went, hey, you two, if you're ranged, like, it's difficult for healers to get you actually healed when you need to be. So whenever there's AoE damage or in general, try to stay a little bit closer. It wasn't quite as wordy as that, but it was the same kind of thing. And it wasn't aggressively worded. It was just kind of more, you know, there's no need to stay at range, come in melee for a bit. And then one person was like, one of them was like, no, it doesn't matter, didn't get hit. And then everyone's like, they've been very nice. They're just trying to explain. You should try to stay in melee because when unavoidable damage comes out, it's easier to top you up in like close quarters because like AoE healing has limited range.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so different to anything I've ever seen in World of Warcraft.
It would go down differently in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you get a really good raid leader, and I've not done LFR for literal years, because screw that, you know, I raid with the guild. Yeah. But I remember sometimes you'd be in LFR and you'd get a real, you know, a weird this weird player profile that seems to have the attitude of a mythic raider, yet for some reason they're in here in LFR. And they're just being like completely weird. And that's totally, something that pretty normal, I think, in WoW. And I think especially, you know, some of the community things that have popped up with Mythic Plus. You know, you throw stuff into a speed run and then it's like, you know, it's just like there's not even time to correct somebody in their mistakes because it's a fucking speed run. You have to go. Which I think is part of what maybe contributes to a toxicity problem or something like that within Mythic Plus. And maybe that's why it's so daunting to so many people.
Yeah,
because, I mean, if I was a tank, I don't feel daunted by M Plus as a DPS, but if I was a tank, I'd definitely feel daunted because, I mean, you know, if you don't know the route, you don't learn the route in, like, the launch version of an expansion, it's like good luck going in and, like, say, a 0.2.
Yeah, you just be crucified. But that's the thing, I've never experienced anything too bad in FF, although I do see a lot of people saying, in quotes, you don't pay my sub. And I've heard that memed on a lot, where apparently there are people who are like, you don't pay my sub, you don't tell me how to play. Which I've seen even
in WoW?
No, in FF.
What?
And I've even seen that memed in reference to people literally never picking up their jobs. So, you know, you're a level 80 archer instead of level 80 bard. Well, I don't think you can do that anymore because there's a quest that you need to have a role quest, and I don't know if you're allowed to do that at a job. But apparently there are people who have played like that historically. And I'm just like, oh, Jesus. That seems unreasonable. But I've not met anything. Everything I've seen so far is really nice. And especially because of how, like, I don't know if it's just that people enjoy playing the game more or they're more happy to have people have friends play with. But the amount of times, even with just the couple of us who moved from WoW to FF recently, the amount of times someone's just pinging Discord like, time for this dungeon, time for this as part of the MSQ, and it's just like, X is logged in, Y has logged in, invite to party. It's like, all right, we'll get you through this. And not even like we'll get you through this, is going to be difficult. Just, oh, I want to see this. I want to do this again with you. Can I come?
Like, I feel like from the toxicity angle, like at least as it pertains to WoW, it's like, if you just think about it this way, if you've done a bunch of Torghast that you didn't want to do for legendaries, and then you ground up a whole bunch of conduit upgrades and socket stuff that you didn't want to do, and then you finally get into the Mythic Plus dungeon that you do want to do with your own keystone, and somebody else in that party doesn't know, doesn't show up, doesn't play good, you're going to be pissed because you just were out in the farms.
Yeah.
You were out digging the trenches and, analogy, hard work that's not rewarding feeling away from the thing you want to do, whatever. You've done all of that, then you finally get to the dungeon you want to do, and then something bad happens. That's going to be a more high-strung emotional situation. Definitely. Because of all of that sort of surrounding context. And that's the sort of thing where the broader design of a game can foster toxicity because of, it's like player investment that breeds resentment. Is basically how they do some of their endgame. And I think that will lead to more endgame toxicity whenever people, people feel like they've pushed through the thing they didn't want to do, and then some other dickheads came in and ruined their prize. Ruined their, the thing they got their character ready to do. It's like you've been, maybe an analogy, you've been training for ages to do this one thing, you finally do it, and then some dickhead from the pre-made group finder comes in, fucks it up for you. Of course you're going to be more toxic.
Of course.
And that's like a type of toxicity that I think dwells within most humans. It's just, does your environment draw it out of you?
It's extracted through game design.
I think that's quite a bit of it.